Smobby, you said you didn't recognize the old voice at all again. You guys want to hear it again?
Good day, everybody. We're on episode 2 of Hardcore. We got a lot done today. I want to say I appreciate all the comments from the first video.
That's actually crazy that used to be my voice, yeah. That's why whenever people say that their voice is too deep to voice train, it's like, fucking shut up. My voice used to be 80 hertz. 80 hertz. My wife doesn't even remember that voice. I want to cover stuff that I talked about in the past, but basically a year ago, back last September on my birthday, I talked a little bit about like how I discovered I was trans and went through and talked a little bit about it. But I think it was a little awkward. Like, I think I was very nervous and I feel a lot more confident now. So like, I feel like talking about it. It was very touching to me to hear that videos like that inspire people so much. And like, especially when they hear that I'm 32 and they figure out that I'm 32 years old, it's like, it's super inspiring to me that I inspire people, you know? I wish there was someone like me when I started my transition, where as confident as I was. And the funny thing is I kind of did fake it till I made it. Like, I literally just faked it until I made it. And it's like, because I think about like back when I first started transitioning, and I was so overconfident. I was like so much in denial on like anything. And I just went through life in such a great way because the confidence like really showed, and I was able to shine so brightly on my own without like much help. And I think part of the reason why I was able to do so well is because of my wife. So props to her of being such a supportive partner. From a very like early age, I noticeably had a different type of experience than like regular boys because I was very interested in like girly things, but I didn't really know how to express it. Unfortunately, I did have a very abusive childhood. My sister had told me a story, because I have two sisters. My eldest sister used to apparently drag me into the room to like play with Barbie dolls and stuff, and I don't remember any of this because of like how much abuse and shit I went through as a kid. I remember her telling me about that and how like she's like, oh, okay, that made more sense of why you never complained about it. It's like, because I never really like had like a lot of guy friends when I was younger. Like, friends were very sparse, and when they were around, I was very awkward. I didn't fit in. I didn't have the same humor. The humor was not the humor was not there. It's like one of the number one things I can look back on and I can be like, oh shit, well, this makes sense. Yeah, if I tried to express any type of femininity or like any sensitivity in the household when I was young, I would unfortunately get abused pretty badly by my stepdad. So, and it sucked that I couldn't really express myself in any way that I wanted to, and it made me such an angry person, to the point that like I was just an angry person for like most of my life, and I don't like being angry. Like, it's so weird. People are probably hearing that for the first time, like they're like, what the fuck, Whooith is an angry person? And it's like, no, I'm not, because I'm not anymore, but I used to be a very angry person. I used to get so angry all the time. I was so angry all the time. It was mainly just because of the environment I grew up in and not being able to like express myself in the ways that I want to. And the only way I could really express myself when I was younger, like in a way that I wanted to, because I was like super obsessed with having long hair. Like, I really wanted long hair. I was like, I always told myself, I want to be like Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. I love how he has like a braid and he has really long hair and it's such pretty hair, and I want to have that long hair. That'd be really cool. I was so obsessed with Edward Elric. I wanted really long blonde hair. And I started growing my hair out when I was in high school. I would basically get like comments from my stepdad about it all the time, to the point that I would just like, you know, just be like a rebel. And I started being like going heavy into like, you know, the goth and like emo scene and stuff because of it. So I was like a goth most of high school. And I dyed my hair black. I wore like black nail polish and shit. So I was like diving heavily into the whole goth aspect of high school, and that's actually how I met my wife. I didn't really know how to express myself in the ways that I wanted to. I never got the ability to express myself in that way, because obviously if I tried to like express myself in like a gay way or like a feminine way, I would, you know, get called names at home, And I was so afraid of like getting more abuse because I had already dealt with it most of my life. As I was growing up, the only time that I would find interest in like other things that were like definitely like femme-leaning. I really liked playing women in like video games and stuff, and I would get uncomfortable if I had to play a guy, like at all times. Like if I had to play a guy in like a video game, I would not enjoy it. I would get so much dysphoria. I didn't know it was dysphoria, but I know now. Just it was such a weird experience, like thinking back about why did it make me so uncomfortable? Like why did it bother me so much that I had to play a guy character on a game? Because I'm a guy, obviously, right? Like I'm a guy, I'm a boy. I must like boy things. I must like playing in the dirt, which I didn't. I must like playing outside, which I didn't. All I wanted to do is stay home. I just wanted to stay home. I wanted to play my video games and escape in my video games and not have to experience like real life and be around people that I don't vibe with and I don't understand and stuff. I managed to mask really well, and that's like really nice thing about being neurodivergent is I can mask so well. I can fit in so well into an environment that is not meant for me, because that's usually how neurodivergent people can like blend in and make themselves seem like they're normal, is because they can mask so well. So, you know, I took up that role. I was like the perfect boyfriend, like and perfect in a way that I skipped school all the time, and you know I smoked and I was a fucking goth motherfucker, and I was just like I dropped out of high school and the total perfect boyfriend. Yeah, right. Not really. I cared about my wife though. Like I cared so much about her, and I would take, even though I wanted to stay at home and play video games all the time and not have to ever leave my house and never have to socialize, I would still take the time out of my day to go visit with my wife, because obviously I love my wife. So it's funny because we had a very sapphic relationship. Like I wanted to spend all the time in the world with her, but I didn't want to spend any time with anyone else, and I wanted to marry her so fast, like within a week or two of us dating finally. Because we didn't start dating immediately because we were dating other people when we first met, but eventually we did start dating, and I wanted to marry her so fast. We wanted to rush into a relationship and stuff, and we kind of did, because when I was 17 and she was 18, she got caught like sneaking out of her house like to come meet me, and she got caught with that, and we ended up just like moving away. We went to go live with my brother and sister, and we just kind of like left, and it was only a few months that we were gone, but that's when my wife got pregnant. So yeah, my eldest I've mentioned a few times is almost 18, but that's, yeah, it was when I was like 17, 18 was when that happened. Got busy real fast. Well, see, the thing is I realize now, and I didn't know this before, I wanted to be like a dad. I wanted to be a dad of a daughter. I wanted to, you know, do all the cute things that dads with daughters did. I wanted to have like, you know, I want to go and paint my nails with my daughter and stuff like that. And I wanted to be the best dad ever. So I wanted a daughter, and I never knew why, but it was actually my dysphoria. Like I wanted to have my kid experience something that I couldn't experience myself, because I didn't know about trans people. I didn't know about trans people at this time. So I was just like trying to adapt to what I understood. And I understood that, you know, girls do girly things, and I was a boy and I had to be masculine. I had to be, you know, the provider, and that's what I was. I was the provider. I got a job. We got an apartment. We moved into an apartment. I took care of my wife, and I ended up joining the military during that time. I didn't do it for like to be like masculine or anything. I just did it because I wanted to provide. I wanted to provide for my family. So, and it was the only option, because like fucking, do you guys know how much the minimum wage was back then? It's still the same amount. It's $7.25. I got paid nothing. So military was like the only option. I ended up going in the military, but I didn't actually like stay in the military because I ended up having like a lot of panic attacks during and like I made it all the way to the advanced training and stuff, but they were trying to figure out why I was having panic attacks and why I kept like, you know, fucking just having these extreme anxiety bouts, when it's just it's just training. It wasn't that big a deal. And they looked into my records and they found out that I was diagnosed with ADHD. So, and I don't know if you know this, but if you're in the military, you cannot have ADHD. You will get discharged. So that was like the start and the end of my military career, which really sucked because that would have really helped us. It would have helped me provide like so well for my family, and it didn't happen. There was other stuff that happened while I was at basic training that was very disturbing. Like someone actually fucking shot their foot off, chat. It was like, I was like disturbed. I was disturbed being there. It was not fun. It was not fun. It was not a fun experience, but I only got discharged because of anxiety and shit. Yeah, you weren't, I don't know if it's still like that now, but back then, if you had ADHD, you get discharged. So I wasn't in very long. I don't really know what like causes it. I think it's just because I was like having anxiety attacks and stuff. I think if it causes a problem and you get kicked out, yeah, that's probably what happened there. So to continue on from there, so it wasn't until like when I was 25, that's when I first found out about trans people. That was back in 2015. Back in 2015, I had first found out about trans people, funny enough, from Reddit. I hadn't like, I've seen like characters of different like trans people in like media and stuff, like in Family Guy and like South Park and stuff like that. I had seen that and I was like, okay, that's weird. That's like a weird thing. But when I actually heard about actual trans people, I had heard about it from a Reddit thread about it was talking about how this trans woman had waited until her kids had moved out and then came out. She was talking about her experiences of like going through her life and like talking about her past and talking about how she realized she was trans, and like a lot of this stuff really resonated with me about the fact that I was really uncomfortable in my gender, about the fact that I constantly thought about, hey, if I could wake up tomorrow, if I could press the button. You ever heard the button analogy of like, if you can press a button and you'll turn into a girl immediately, would you press it? Yeah, I would. Like that was one of the biggest things. And I always constantly was thinking about, it's like, wow, my life would have been so much better if I was born female. And like, I was like, you know, girls have it so much better. I would have rather gone through that and stuff like that. The rock in the shoe analogy is like a really good one. It's being trans is like having a rock in your shoe. You go through life and you're like, after a while you're like, there's a fucking rock in my shoe and it's really annoying, and it's like you got to deal with it. And you tell your friend, you're like, well, how do you guys deal with this rock in your shoe? And your friend just tells you, well, you just take it out. You just take the rock out of the shoe. And it's like, oh shit, I never knew I could just take the rock out of my shoe. And once you realize that, once you can finally take that rock out of your shoe and you finally take that jump and being comfortable in your own skin, then people try taking your rights away. So I figured out about trans people in 2015. I told my wife about it, and I decided not to pursue anything with it because like obviously I was crazy. Like obviously I just need to like, you know, I need to get over my depression. Like my depression wasn't a big deal. It's like these thoughts are stupid. Like obviously like me like wanting, you know, liking girly things, and you know that's normal. It's normal for someone like me, you know, all the little denial stuff. I went to like a super hyper masculine phase after that for like a few years. Like I was, you know, I grew like a big beard, and you guys have probably seen pictures of that before, of like, you know, me having a big beard and stuff, and like pre-transition photos. Here, I'll even show you. I'll throw it up, chat, so you guys can see. Because I just posted it on Twitter. Yeah, so this was me back in like 2017. This is during the hyper masculine phase right here. That's what I used to look like right there. So during like the 2017 phase, that's where I was at right there. So yeah, super hyper masculine. I was like trying to groom my beard. I was trying to get like better, like different haircuts, more like, you know, like fades, undercuts, stuff like that. Which is funny because like an undercut's more like a lesbian haircut nowadays. It's not really a masculine haircut nowadays. That's a lesbian one. It's really funny. But I don't know. I started like hanging out with more masculine type people. I had a friend group that we used to play Fortnite a lot with. Like I used to play Fortnite like all the fucking time with this group of friends. And I thought those friends would like last forever with me. But I realized after a while that they were kind of bigoted, and I kind of slowly drifted away from them because they were bigoted pieces of shit, so why would I want to be around them? And it's funny because the person that I really, really respected, his name was Chris, I thought he was gonna be my friend forever, and he was so supportive when I came out, and then randomly he wasn't. And that really sucks, like thinking back on that, because I really thought he was like a brother to me. I thought he was like such an amazing person. He was so supportive when I started transitioning, and then he started calling me by my dead name, like randomly. And it's like, I should have like saw the writing on the wall when I realized that, because he was like a big Nick Merckx fan. And I should have saw the writing on the wall because Nick Merckx is a super fucking bigot. I should have fucking noticed. I should have noticed. Yeah, he started like using my dead name, like my old alias name, and he was like, well, that's what I know you by, and that's what I'm just gonna call you. And I'm like, well, that's not how that works. And he's like, well, when I changed my name, because he changed his alias, he's like, when I changed my name, I didn't make a big deal about it. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. He bitched so much when people kept calling him by his old alias. He's such a fucking liar. I have much better friends now. So back in 2020, I discovered GTA roleplay. And GTA roleplay, if you're not familiar, is literally you play on GTA 5 on 5M. It's a platform, a mod platform for GTA. And it allows you to basically roleplay a character. You like if you want to roleplay a cop, you can roleplay a cop. If you want to roleplay a criminal, you can roleplay a criminal. If you want to roleplay a fucking judge, you know, in charge of like court hearings, you can do that. That's what roleplay. Hell, my wife roleplayed a dog. Woof. So I discovered that, and I've always been like super like supportive of queer and trans people. Like super supportive of queer and trans people. There was some trans people on my server because I ended up making a server on 5M. It was called Raise Network. It was super fucking popular. We had like 5,000 members in the Discord, and it was like there was like 200 people at a time. And it was like a really, really popular Discord. It was right after NoPixel 3.0 came out, and basically they had so many people coming back to RP that our server popped the fuck off. Okay, yeah, so on my server, there was a lot of trans people who played on there. I would run into trans girls all the time. I was very, very protective of them. Like, if people were rude to them, I would make sure that the people would get, like, banned and stuff. I was very supportive of, you know, people being, like, who they are. And that's where I met someone named Kat. Kat is a trans woman, and actually is one of the people who helped me realize I was trans. I don't talk to her anymore because she ended up being a liberal. Ew. I do kind of owe her for helping me come to terms on who I am, because she was a very open trans woman too. But yeah, I was very supportive of trans people, but I didn't know I was trans until much later. I love the escapism, and I ended up playing like female characters on that all the time. And I'm like, I started using voice changers. Like, you guys have heard my little voice changers where I used to play with like a voice changer that was like,
it wasn't like this, but it was like a little higher like this. Like, it was like just a little higher, like just enough that it wasn't like super bad. But it's not a great example. I'm trying to figure it out.
Don't worry about it. So I used to use a voice changer when I was playing GTRP. During that time, I never like connected to me why I like got really mad when people were able to tell I was like, you know, a boy behind the character. Because most of the time, like, GTRP doesn't have that issue. But yeah, I was super bothered about the voice changer stuff and why it bothered me so much. So I started voice training during the time. And this is before, that was totally cis, by the way, totally cis. I realized you're trans by roleplaying as a woman in RP server. Yeah, see? Isn't it fucking wild? But it wasn't just roleplaying a girl character. It was the fact that I was voice training months before I came out. I was voice training months before I came out. I was like going out of my way to try to learn. I was like, I didn't want to use a voice changer. So I would sit there and I would fucking voice train and like look up how to do a girl voice and like, how do you do a girl voice? And I would look up trans voice lessons, and I would look up, you know, the fucking chuds that know how to do the girl voice and stuff. And I was like, well, I gotta figure this out. I want to be able to just do it without a voice changer. That'd be kind of cool. Like, there's no reason for this. Still cis, by the way. But I went to Kat and I asked her how she knew she was trans. And she explained to me like all the little things, and I'm like, wow, this really resonates with me. And it had me like flashbacking to 2015 about, you know, hearing the same analogies as like, you know, you feel more comfortable as a woman. Like, it makes you feel really nice when people think you're a girl. You don't like being perceived as masculine. You don't like being perceived, because I didn't like using a camera. Like, on camera, I've been streaming since 2017. I never liked using a camera. I used a camera like maybe once in a while. I tried to do, and that's actually what caused me to do like the whole masculine phase, because I was gonna use the camera. I have to look manly. I have to look super manly on a camera. So I started growing out my beard. I started grooming myself, and I finally used the camera, and I fucking hated it. I hated being on camera. I hated taking pictures of myself. I did not like the way I looked, and I was like starting to do like streams where like no camera. I'm like, I'm one of those no camera streamers. Like, you just hear my voice, but my voice is really nice. My voice is really nice, so like it's not a big deal. I actually have a recording. You guys want to hear what I sounded like? You guys want to hear what I sound like? It's so fucking cringe. Here's an old voice recording of my this is my old voice chat. Are you guys ready to get jump scared? You guys ready to get jump scared? You're gonna get jump scared.
Good day, everybody. We're on episode 2 of Hardcore. We got a lot done today.
This is when I was recording Minecraft Hardcore.
I want to say appreciate all the comments from the first video. We're gonna keep this rolling. Got a lot to go through. This is gonna be the new way that we're gonna be doing clothing. This is the way to add models versus replacing. This is how you structure it. I have a conversion tool, but
isn't that fucking
it's kinda hard
crazy?
to explain how to do it. But basically, this is how you'd
This is my voice chat.
separate the folders between female and male, and then you do _P means props.
No, I definitely don't sound like this anymore.
So in this right here, you can go to components.
This is my old voice chat.
Pulling into an alleyway, northbound Foreman Drive. Shots fired, shots fired. Need back, I don't know.
Yeah, that's my old voice. Anyway, I really resonated with the whole, because I didn't like using a camera. I didn't like pictures of myself. I only have like 5 to 10 pictures of myself in the last like 10 years before I transitioned. There was like no pictures of myself. I didn't like recording myself. I liked using no camera. I didn't like people looking at me. I didn't want to be in pictures. I preferred playing female characters in games. I liked girly shit. I was on Final Fantasy making like glamours of like the girliest, pinkest shit ever. And I'm like, I just want to be cute. It's not a big deal. There's nothing weird about it. I just wanted to be cute. I just wanted to be, I want to be a girl. Like that's like pretty obvious. So I really resonated with what Kat said. And I was like, all right, let's try it. So I went out as non-binary. I told my wife I was non-binary. I said, I want to try this for a while. I'm just going to go by they, them. I want to see how I feel. I shaved off my beard. Fucking immediate relief getting that bitch off my face. Started, looking into like makeup and stuff. I was like playing around a little bit with it, and that only lasted a month, chat. I lasted 1 fucking month. And I went up to my wife. I remember like sitting down with my wife on our bed, and I told her, I think I'm a girl. And I remember that my wife accepted me immediately. She probably knew I was gonna cry, so she even gave me a hug. I said I was gonna like take a few months. I was gonna go like a few months just trying it out and like just like starting to socially transition. And if I liked it, I would go on HRT. I waited an entire week. I was like, nope, I gotta get on HRT. Let's give me them drugs. Give me them fucking drugs. So I only made it a week before I went straight on HRT, and that's been it. It's been almost 4 years now, and yeah, I'm just like, I'm in such a better place. I am so much of a happier person now than I ever have been. I was miserable. I was not happy. My wife was miserable because I was not happy. I didn't know where I was going in life, and honestly, if I hadn't have come out, even though I've never been suicidal in my life, I don't think I would have survived another few years because I was so miserable. Like I was in such a miserable state, which you can really see it if you like look. This is a picture of me like 2 months before I came out. I was extremely overweight. I was just kind of going through the motions, like just trying to survive. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going, and I just wasn't happy. But once I came out, just a few months later, you already start seeing the spark in my eyes. And a year later, you don't even know who you look like anymore. And then 4 years later, that's just a whole ass woman. I can't begin to tell you like if you're trans or if, the thoughts you're feeling are valid. But I can tell you one thing, that if you are trans and you know you're trans, it's never too late to transition. I'm so tired of people saying that it is a luck thing, because it is not a luck thing. I worked so fucking hard. I went from I went from this sad individual who is dead to the world, extremely overweight, and I overcome that through perseverance, through hard work. I worked my ass off, and if someone tries to tell me that it's luck, go fuck yourself. I've lost so much weight. I've changed so much about myself to fit into the mold and the woman that I want to be. When you're sitting there and you're fucking miserable and you're telling people that, oh no, it's down to luck. Not every trans woman can pass. Get over yourself. Anyone can achieve their dreams if they really work on it. It's about confidence. You have to be confident. It doesn't matter if you're 18, it doesn't matter if you're 30, it doesn't matter if you're 40. Most of the people that have transitioned in the past have ended up being older, and they end up being happy too. So there's nothing wrong with being happy. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. And honestly, I think transitioning is one of the most selfish things you can do, because you're telling the world that you choose yourself. You choose to be happy. So be selfish. Be yourself. And I just want you all to know that I'm very proud of you if you are on your own journeys, and you'll get there. We'll get there together. Pride Month is not just a month. It's about surviving. It's about the fact that we can stand against hatred and we can be ourselves, and we are unapologetically ourselves. If you can do that, you can do anything. So you should be proud all the time. Pride Month is every day, because you should be proud to be alive, and the fact that you didn't give in to the hatred, you didn't give in to the despair, you decided to live. Be gay every year. Be gay 24/7, chat. Be proud of yourself. Happy Pride Month. I love you guys.
She's pink and she's glowing. Her hair stays flowing and she drops hot takes like she just don't care. Your precious lady is about to arrive. Wouldn't advise getting on her bad side. Don't know if she has talent, but she just might. Everybody questioning who the best druid around is. Like, who is? It's the pretty pink icon. Whooith.